Want to know how you can manifest love in your life? My name's Kalia, and we're going to talk about love. Love is something that everybody wants and needs in their life on some level. Maybe not everybody's looking for a relationship, but in my history as a coach working with people who were coming out of toxic relationships, everybody seemed to want that wonderful, healthy relationship and not sure how to go about finding it. Well, I have a little bit different approach to manifesting love as some people might have. There's this term called specific person, how to manifest your specific person. And I think a lot of people interpret that as I have my eye on John over here and I want to manifest John. And, the issue with manifesting somebody that you already know about, that's already in your life to some capacity that might not be showing up the way that you want him to or her to, is that you are limiting the universe. So, really, I encourage everyone that is trying to manifest love to really put out that I am manifesting the ideal partner for me, the ideal partner for me. And what I would encourage you to do is to get out a piece of paper and a pen and do this manually. Don't use your computer. Get out a piece of paper and a pen and just start writing the qualities that you would like to have in a relationship. And don't forget the important things like honesty and integrity and kindness and capacity to love and things that are really important to you. Some people overlook those basics because they're too focused on the physical. He needs to be attractive and he needs to be successful. And, let's get down to brass tacks and look at what the qualities are that you really want. It's okay to write that you want that person to be attractive and successful. That's okay too, but don't skip over the important inner qualities and characteristics that you want in a mate. So just start by writing everything down that you want and don't attach it or project that list on to somebody outside that you might already know or somebody that you just meet, because that person may not be the best match for you. And you might find if you went into that relationship, even though you're attracted to that person, if you went into the relationship, you might find that many of those qualities and characteristics that are important to you are missing, but because you manifested this person, so to speak, that you should hold on to them. And that's really not what love is about. Love is about really loving and being loved and being valued and being cherished and being cared about. And you really want to have those kind of qualities in your relationship, right? So write down those qualities that you want. And if that person walks in the door after you make your list, you've got your list. So you also don't necessarily want to accept everybody that walks in the door as your special person or significant other or the person that you've manifested. You really want to look at your list and say, well, how does he hold up to my list? Or how does she hold up to my list? Does she or he have those qualities and characteristics that I am looking for? Now, we're not talking about looking for perfection because let's face it, we're human and nobody's perfect. We all have flaws. And so when you're making your list, you might also have a negotiable and non-negotiable aspect of the list. So, for example, you might prefer that that person is local, that easily accessible, lives in your area, and that's your negotiable, because if that person lived in another state, for example, but was willing to relocate, then and you really liked that person and you really had a strong connection with that person and that person had most of the qualities and characteristics on your list, then you wouldn't want to cross that person off. But if it's something like honesty or integrity that that person's lacking, yeah, that's non-negotiable. You definitely want to cross anybody that shows up without integrity or honesty off your list, because that's not really what you want, right? We all want somebody that's going to be honest with us. So your list is the first step in manifesting that love in your life, to write down what you want and get really clear and be very specific and take your time, meaning it could take you several days to complete that list. You could write a lot of things right now. And then tomorrow you might think about a few other qualities that you want to add to that list. And so you just keep adding to that list. And you can be adding and you can be changing negotiables to non-negotiables. You can be continuing to work with that list, but the list is stage one in manifesting love. Let your subconscious know what you want. And second, Neville Goddard talks about living in the end. That means acting as if you already have it. So, how are you going to do this with love, with that special person, with that specific person? How are you going to act as if that person's already in your life? There are many things that you can do. The first thing I recommend that you do is you do a daily journaling process where you imagine that you're already with that person and you imagine what you're doing together, what you feel like, the conversations that you're having, and just write it down as if it's already happening. So not we will be going here and we will be doing this, but we are. We are here doing this. We are taking long walks on the beach. We're cooking together. We're taking a vacation together. We're on a long drive. We are having some very long, in-depth conversations. I'm feeling very connected to this person. I feel him coming up behind me and putting his arms around me and giving me a kiss on the cheek, and just really get specific about how you're feeling with this person and what you're doing together. And that brings it to life. You start to see it in your imagination. And once again, when you see something in your imagination, you're planting seeds into the subconscious that is taking that energy of that seed to produce the physical reality of that. So this is the second thing you can do, is a journaling exercise where you are writing and having the experience of being with this person in present time through your writing, through your imagination. The third thing that you can do is before you go to sleep at night, when you're in bed and you're in that drowsy place and you're getting ready to drift off to sleep, imagine that person is holding you. You might imagine spooning with that person, that he's just holding you, or you might imagine having one of those late night conversations in bed. Just really imagine what it would feel like to have that person have their arms around you and be in the safety of their arms, and how blessed you feel to have them in your life. And just really entertain that feeling every night before you go to bed. And you can also do this in the morning when you wake up and you're in that groggy place, just waking up. Imagine waking up next to this person and how that would feel. For those of you that want to get married, you can imagine a ring on your finger. Imagine your wedding ring on your finger. You might even imagine feeling it on your finger. This is something that Neville Goddard taught, is just really imagining that wedding ring on your finger. So that's an additional thing you can imagine, maybe even as you're laying in bed at night, imagining that you're spooning with your special person and that there's a ring on your finger, that you are committed to each other, that you're married. So just doing these three things can really move the energy quickly to bring that specific person, that love into your life, just by writing down what it is you want, getting very clear, writing down those characteristics, those qualities of that person, doing your daily journaling of experiencing life with that person, and then at night, imagining yourself lying with that person and feeling the comfort of being in their arms, and maybe even seeing that wedding ring on your finger. If you do this on a daily basis, that person is on his or her way to you. I guarantee it. Now, there's another piece that we have to talk about when you're manifesting a special person in your life, and that is your belief in your ability to experience love. But it's your feelings of worthiness. If your worthiness factor is really low, you may not feel worthy of that person when they show up, or they may not show up because you're pushing them away because energetically you're not feeling worthy. So in preparing for that person, do the three things we talked about, but also work on your own worthiness by saying, I am worthy of love. I accept love into my life. I am lovable. I am worthy of being cared for, and really work on that worthiness. And if you need to get some help to work through any former trauma or things that have affected you from previous relationships, I really recommend that you do that, because working with somebody can really help you to shift your dynamic and really get to a place where you feel worthy of having love in your life. If you're still bitter or resentful from a past relationship, that's going to get in your way. So you have to do your forgiveness work and your letting go, and realize, one way to look at it is, well, I've learned a lot about myself through that experience. It wasn't what I wanted. And that's the biggest thing I learned, is I don't want that. And so that becomes a non-negotiable. Any of those qualities that traumatized you or made you feel less than or made you feel unworthy, those are definitely not things you're going to be inviting in. But you also have to let go of the past in order to have a future, right? So you've got to be able to work through the trauma of past relationships and come to a place of forgiveness, because forgiveness is basically saying, I am not going to carry you around with me anymore. I'm not going to let you take up space in my consciousness anymore. I am going to let you go and have your own experience of life. Meanwhile, I'm going to have my own experience of life. So forgiveness is not about saying what you did is okay, like if they cheated on you or something like that, that really caused you to feel wounded and not trusting of men or women, that this has to be healed. And you've got to get to a place where you can say, well, I'm forgiving you because I don't want to carry you around with me anymore. Forgiveness is not saying what you did was fine, it's okay. No. And forgiveness is also not inviting that person back into your life. It's releasing energy that keeps you trapped. It's letting go of the past so that you can have a present, so you can have a future. So while you're attracting that person, don't forget to do that important work of becoming emotionally ready for that relationship so that you can truly receive it when it shows up. It's not likely going to show up if you have some real blocks, or if it does show up, you might find yourself projecting the past onto it through mistrust, fear, insecurities, fears of abandonment, things like that. And, sabotaging what could have been a really good thing. So make sure that you're working through your own feelings of fears and insecurities around relationship as you are working on manifesting a relationship so that you can really fully be ready to receive that love in your life. So I hope this has been helpful, and if you would like to join a community where you can be working on this on a daily basis, manifestation, please click on the link below for my Conscious Creators course and community, and you can start working with us today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.